Three notes, guys. That's all we're playing for this guitar solo today, so this is going to be a very short and easy video. Well, I'm just kidding about that. We are going to learn a three-note melody, but I want to show you some really cool ways to expand on just a simple three-note melody, and this is going to help you create your own guitar solos. Now, this video is mainly for those of you who have just considered yourself a rhythm player over the years and you're like, I'm really good at rhythms, but solos just aren't my thing. I'm going to challenge you to watch this video and go through these exercises. And even if you're an advanced lead guitarist, of course, some of this stuff might be easy for you, but I hope that it just gives you some fresh ideas. We all need that from time to time, myself included. So, hey, watch this video, go through this exercise. I want you to listen to this very short clip of me playing a live guitar solo, and I want you to listen for this melody. You're going to hear this melody right here a few times. Okay, listen for that in this short clip, and then we're going to expand on it. So you heard that three-note melody there, and again, we're going to expand on that. I'm going to show you some cool ways to expand on it. I'm going to show you the melody first, and then we'll go over the chord progression. But real quick, my Patreon supporters, I almost forgot to tell you guys, you have the tabs for everything we're about to go over here, and you also have a really cool rhythm backing track to download and play along with. Guys, if you'd like to become a Patreon supporter, basically what I do is I provide the tabs and a backing track to at least 2 of my YouTube lessons a month. There's a link in the description of this video to find out more, so do check that out. So here's the melody here. Okay, we're on the B and the G strings, and we're starting on the 10th fret of the B string, going to the 9th fret, then we're going to go over to the 9th fret of the G string, just like this. Now, the chord progression that we're playing, we're in the key of B minor here, but there are 3 chords that we're playing this melody to, okay? And that's going to be a B minor, a D, and an A, just like this. Basically, the melody is kind of following along with the B minor and the D, and then when we get to that A, we're holding that note out on the G string, 9th fret, but that's where we're going to start to change things up and add some notes, add a little bit of flavor to it, okay? So let's go through that. The first one is going to be, I don't want to say it's easy, but we're just going to throw in some more melodic notes here. We're going to kind of continue telling the story. See, I like to think of guitar solos as telling a story, because that's what the vocals do, right? The vocals are telling you a story. It's bringing you along on this journey, and to me, a guitar solo is really replacing that vocal line. This melody pattern that we're playing, this really, cool 3-note melody, though it's simple, it's kind of like the chorus, okay? It's like what you remember about the guitar solo. Now, the other stuff is just kind of stuff to add on to it to make it sound cooler and take you on a little bit more exciting journey, but we always go back to that melody part because that's what people are going to remember, all right? So remember that. So here's what we're going to do the first time around. I'm going to show you 3 versions of this, or not really versions, but just 3 ways to expand on this, okay? So here we go. right, so you can see and hear that we added a few more notes. Instead of letting that one note, the 9th fret of the G string, ring out, which is cool to do from time to time. You don't always have to clutter your guitar solo with a bunch of notes. Sometimes you just want to let that story just, linger a little bit, like keep them in suspense. Let that note ring out before you go to something else or after you did something really cool. So that's just a side note, okay? That's one way to look at it, but we're adding these notes here. What I'm doing is we're on that G string 9th fret. I'm going to go over to the D string 11th fret. Back to that 9th fret G string. 11th fret G string. Now I'm going to kind of slide down to the D string and we're going to be on the 7th fret. Just a little slide. Kind of like a subtle slide there, okay? Let's do that one more time. You can hang on that note a little bit. That sounds cool as well. But let's expand a little bit further on this next one, okay? We're actually going to add a couple more notes. We're going to keep that same melodic nature, if you will. We're not doing anything crazy. We're going to get to something a little fast here. Don't worry, that's coming. So I'm going to expand just a little more. So there's two ways you can play that. You've just got the 3-note melody there. You can play that, let that note ring on that G string 9th fret, and the next time around, or if you want to do this instead, well, you've got this other part to add to it as well, okay? So now we're just going to expand a little bit more. Listen to this. All we added was just a few notes, okay? And we'll go through it from start to finish here, but all I added was this part here. Almost has like a 80s meets, I want to say kind of a southern rock twist to it, if you will, something of that nature. But anyway, let's go back. Okay, let's go back to where we were. You know the 3-note pattern. We end on that 9th fret G string. Then we went into this. Now we're going to go A string, okay, we're on the 7th fret, 7-9 on the A string, then we're going to go over to the 7th fret D string, then we're going to go to the 9th fret D string, but we're going to kind of slide that up, like a quick and snappy little slide there from 9 to 11. Then back to the 7th fret of the D string. Let's play through this one more time. And guys, don't get too caught up on the little details so much. You may hear something else, okay? You may be trying to play what I'm playing, and it's not difficult at all, but there is a little rhythmic, kind of a different rhythmic twist to that. You may play something different. And I don't want to confuse you on that, guys, but don't get so hung up on, well, I've got to play it exactly like they played it. You really don't. I want you to come up with your own thing. You can go back to the point in this video, okay, and just go over that. Just kind of pause and go over that. If you want to learn it exactly the way I played it, just get that down. Again, my Patreon supporters, you guys have the tabs, but don't be afraid to branch out beyond that, beyond just what I'm playing. You may add some notes, you may take some notes away and come up with something that sounds better and more tasteful to you. And really, that's what this is all about. This isn't really about, hey, do what Jason's doing. Sure, I want you to learn it, of course, but I'm more interested in you branching out and getting creative, okay? Because that's how we truly expand as a guitar player. Now, let's go over one more. So we've got what, really 3 different ways. We've got just the 3 notes there. We've got this next part that we added a few notes to it. Both of those sound cool, but if you want to go for a few more notes, we can add these right here. Before we go to this next one, and there's going to be some finger tapping involved here, so that's going to be fun. You could play, and you don't have to play exactly what I played again, but just think in terms of, I could play the simple notes the first time around. The next time we go to it, I can add a few more notes like we did. The third time we get to that part again, I can add some more to it. This is really how you build the story, right? This is a movie. This is a story that you're creating on guitar with your solos. And this is how you build upon that. So it gets really cool and interesting as you start adding stuff to it. It doesn't have to be just the one way or the other way. You can do it this way one time, do it this way the next time, and so forth, and just keep adding on to that. Now, let's go over this next little pattern here. We're going to add something kind of cool. Now we just added a little bit of tapping. So what we're doing here, and I kind of did something similar to that. Whenever I play live, guys, I am literally making up the solo on the fly. Now, when I'm playing that progression, and I'll tell you what song that is a rendition of at the end in our guitar chat again, so do hang around for that. That's coming up next. I'm going to start using that 3-note melody though every time I play that song when I break out into a solo. Actually, I did the same thing on acoustic. I'll share that with you at the end as well. In any case though, what I'm doing here is I'm basically playing what we went over on the first expansion beyond just the 3-note melody there. So we're doing this. You've got that down already. I stay on the D string. I had to look at what string that was. The D string 7th fret, and I just do a little tapping here. And the notes that we're tapping we're going to be starting on that 7th fret, all D string here. I'm on 11, okay, 11, 9, 7. Now, you may be really surprised to hear what song I'm covering and making up solos to here, but first I just want to remind my Patreon supporters, you guys have the tabs of everything we went over today, as well as a really cool backing track to download and jam along to. Also, an update, I am working on a lead guitar course, okay? I know many of you have my Metal Riff Master course, and some of you have Metal Guitar Apprentice if you're just starting out. I am working on a lead guitar course. I haven't started filming for it yet, but I've got the layout started, and I'm hoping to release it in March 2023. So stay tuned, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hey, give this video a thumbs up, by the way, while we're at it, if it helped you. As most of you know, I play live solo acoustic gigs, about 2 or 3 a week in my area here, and I stick to the 80s. My little tag is 80s with a side of 70s. And of course, I play a lot of 80s rock. Of course, I dip into the hair bands as well. I think about the heaviest I get, Bon Jovi and Poison. I do have an acoustic version of Iron Maiden's Wasted Years. Actually, I just played that at a wedding a couple of weeks ago, so that was pretty cool. But I love the 80s, from the rock to the pop, pretty much anything in that era, so that's what I stick to. And I've always loved this song, Voices Carry. Hush, hush, keep it down now, voices carry. And of course, the guitar solo that I made up, okay, that really doesn't carry the melody of the actual song itself at all. It's just something that I was hearing in my head, which brings me to this point, guys. You're gonna hear stuff in your head as you're playing. What I want you to do is translate that onto the fretboard, okay? Maybe you're jamming to a rhythm. Maybe if you're my Patreon supporter, you've got the rhythm track that you're jamming to. You may hear something different as you hear those rhythms. Play that. Translate that from what's going on up here in your head to the fretboard. Figure out where those notes are. Just break it down note by note, okay? Hum that melody, okay? Then again, put that to the fretboard, and that's how you create your guitar solos. Now you've got this really cool melody that you created. And guys, this is the most important thing about being a guitar player. I am not against you learning other people's music. I don't want you to think that. I think it's great to learn other songs. I mean, hey, I play cover songs. Now, the caveat here is I transpose a lot of them, and because I'm just playing acoustic, I don't have all the other instrumentation. Well, I've kind of got to make my own version. So it's more of a rendition of the song than it is a cover. But here's my point, guys. Someone else already wrote that song, okay? So, I mean, if you want to play it note for note, hey, that's great. That's not a bad thing. But I really encourage you to make your own way in guitar playing. Make your own way as a musician, okay? Make up your own melodies, all right? You can borrow from other people's ideas. Every great musician and guitar player, well, that's what they've done. They've borrowed from other ideas and have created something beautiful and have made it their own, to the point where it doesn't even sound like the original idea. We all have influences. I'm heavily, no pun intended, influenced by the older Metallica. That's what I started out listening to in the genre of heavy metal. I'm very much inspired by Joe Satriani. You may hear some of those elements come out in a lot of the music that I've written over the years, especially my first and second album, Apocalyptic Dreams, and then the first Heavy Metal Workout. Very much Metallica inspired. And when you listen to things like Apocalyptic Dreams and even my latest album, Masterpiece, I am working on a new album, by the way. I really got to get back to that. This has been 2 years in the making. So anyway, you'll hear some, maybe a little Joe Satriani hints in there as well. I'm not taking his ideas. I'm not playing what he played or what Kirk Hammett played. Rather, I'm taking the influence that these guitar players have had on me and creating something with my own flavor, with my own style, okay? So I just wanted to chat briefly about that because I think it's important, guys. I can't harp on this enough. I think it's very important as a guitar player to develop your own style and sound, not someone else's, because you are a creator. I want you to know that. You're watching this video, you're this far into it. Thank you, by the way, for hanging in here with me, but I want to encourage you that you have it in you to create some very beautiful and interesting and unique music that's going to bring out your style. I hope this video helped you. I told you I had a little acoustic piece. I'm playing that same 3-note melody on acoustic, same show, by the way, so I'm going to let you check that out as we end the video. Guys, thank you so much. Always keep it metal and keep playing music.